Alright, I'm cleaning a space for the last raised bed we've got. So that's what this video is about. Raised beds. Let's get into it. So these raised beds are actually animal troughs that you would expect to see on a farm. And they're 2 feet deep, 2 feet wide, and 4 feet long. We bought them at the Tractor Supply Company for $150. And the manufacturer is Countryline. Their construction is of a thick galvanized metal, and I think we're probably going to get a lot better use out of these than we will our other raised beds. If I hadn't already installed the landscaping fabric and put down mulch, I probably would have dug the base out to level these raised beds. But since the landscaping fabric's down, I will just mound up a bunch of mulch to level this bed out. A little bit of raking, and we're ready to start filling them up. So we've spent a lot of money on these raised beds, but we don't want to double or triple that price by filling them up with garden soil. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill the bottom up with a bunch of wood limbs. So I've marked this log with my tape measure, and I'll get my chainsaw and we'll cut it into 44-inch lengths. It's been a long time since I started this chainsaw, and I hope the carburetor's not all gummed up. But if anybody's ever had a chainsaw, it always feels like this. The pulling never stops. It's about 10 minutes later. I got the tractor and moved some things around, let my arm relax, and then came back to try one more time. And even our little dog Rascal's looking at me like, "Why are you doing that?" But perseverance wins, and it finally got started up. And once the chainsaw's running, you can make quick work of cutting logs. The ends of the raised beds are curved, so even though it's 4 feet long, I need to make these shorter than 4 feet or they won't fit in. So I'm cutting these about 44 inches long. I don't have the proper safety shoes on, but I do have eye and ear protection. Please be safe when you're using power tools. Well, you've got the idea. I used a chainsaw to cut these logs to fit those raised beds. And here are some words of wisdom from Captain Obvious. It's never too bad once you get the chainsaw started up. It just sucks starting a chainsaw up. Next, we need to break out Johnny, our tractor, to help pick up these pieces and make moving them around a little easier. Johnny's awful helpful, but at some point I knew I was going to have to move a little bit of these logs by hand. We'll just keep stacking these logs in these raised beds until we have them at least halfway full. I still had to go back with the chainsaw and cut the ends of these logs so that I could get them to fit into the raised beds better. Then it was back to playing Tetris with these logs, trying to fill up as much of the volume at the bottom of these raised beds as I could. And some of these logs I didn't want to handle more than once. Not all of them, but some of them were pretty heavy. We probably spent the better part of 2 hours filling up these raised beds. We even used all the little pieces we cut off at the ends. Once the raised beds were about half full of the wood, we ended up taking yard debris, mainly leaves and some pine straw, and filling in all the voids left by the logs. Over time, the logs and the leaves will end up decaying and become part of the soil. But at the moment, we want about a good 8 inches of soil at the top for the plants to grow in. We would probably pay between $8 and $15 for a bag of raised bed potting soil at one of the big box stores, and it would take quite a few of those bags to try to fill up these raised beds, and that's something we're trying to avoid. Well, there you have it. This raised garden bed is about done. The only thing left to do is to put some fresh soil on top when we go to plant our next group of vegetables. Well, there you have it, the county line animal troughs. I think they're going to work out great as our raised beds. This one already has a couple of plants in it, and all the dirt came from our potato bags. We'd emptied them out here and pulled all the potatoes out. And these are our other two, and it looks like just 2 bags of raised potting soil is going to be enough to top these off. Well, thanks a lot for watching. We'll let you know when we have some more stuff planted in our raised beds. But until then, like and subscribe, check out my playlist, and we'll see you in that next video.
I put 2 cucumbers in